The situation on Earth appears to be threatening. What do the Pleiadians say to all this? Fifth question, according to the extraterrestrials, how can we still save the Earth here and now? Billy's answer, earthquakes. Not all earthquakes should be blamed on mankind and its technical progress. Many are of purely natural origin and are connected to the natural developmental cycles of Earth, even though man must be blamed for causing some terrible earthquakes through the construction of reservoirs, ruthless extraction of oil and gas from the ground, as well as the construction of gigantic cities. Hurricanes, tornadoes and hurricanes are closely connected to climatic changes often associated with mismanagement by man against nature. For example, the cutting down of entire forests, the construction of dams and reservoirs, the destruction of fertile soil with harmful chemicals and poisons, the over-fertilization and clearing of land, nuclear testing, the activities of nuclear power plants and their consequences, the burning of fossil fuels, and the utilization of modern chemicals and poisons. Ozone holes. The destruction of the ozone layer is caused by the same human carelessness and bungling, mainly through the usage of bromine gas substances, fluorhydrocarbon, nitric oxide, nuclear radiation, and release fumes, such as those from the combustion engines. More information can be found in the Meier's contact notes from 1975. Which already contain a warning by the Pleiadians regarding the destruction of the ozone layer. The growing destruction of the ozone layer, and the resulting dangers can only be eliminated through a rapid global agreement which would prohibit the production and use of all harmful substances currently released into the atmosphere. AIDS. The origin of the AIDS epidemic had been traced to Uganda in Africa, from where the disease spread to Haiti. From there it was transmitted to the entire world by degenerate homosexuals practicing sodomy with long-tailed monkeys, which naturally carry the AIDS virus without any harm to them. The inception and transmission occurred through acts of sodomy and later also through homosexual activities of sodomy. The Pleiadians have explained that a cure for the disease may only be found by medical researchers on Earth when it is almost too late, as the epidemic will have spread worldwide by then. They themselves have no medication for this exclusively earthbound disease. Nuclear threat. The nuclear threat is a mad tool of war of the Earth humans and in every way against creation and nature. Moreover, it is the product of schizophrenic, sick fools and psychopaths, without a trace of responsibility, addicted to toying with war. The military, as well as the peaceful use of nuclear energy, harbor infinite dangers which the Earth humans have yet to control, and will not control completely for a long time to come. Furthermore, radioactive radiation is released during nuclear disintegration that is completely unknown to nuclear physicists on Earth at this time. The situation on Earth. The situation on Earth is threatening in many different aspects: overpopulation, military systems and weapons industries, pollution of the entire world through poisons of all types, radioactivity, crime, power politics, drugs, false religions, global mismanagement in every resort, financial exploitation, misuse of chemicals and poisons, terrorism, racial hatred, slave trade, prostitution, anarchism, mad exorcisms of the dead, spirits or other demons, war activities and revolutions, etc., etc. What can be done? First and foremost, the human population on Earth must be reduced through a humane form of a worldwide suspension of births, with an immediate follow-up of permanent birth control. If these two measures are not enforced to keep the number of humans on Earth in bearable limits, 529 million should be the normal number of inhabitants on Earth, the problems will increase infinitely, grow in equal ratio, and become unsolvable as the human population increases steadily. By the same token, the elimination of various ravages, according to their cause and effect, is an irrevocable necessity and most urgent requirement. The Pleiadians themselves suggested that the following important measures be taken to end the destruction on Earth. As mentioned, for several years there must be an absolute birth suspension followed by permanent birth control immediate end of all exploitation of the Earth, including the exploitation of the forests and the devastation of entire landscapes, etc., until a bearable, acceptable level for Earth has been reached. Stop of all nuclear testing. Stop of production of all illegal drugs and other drugs which are made for abuse, as well as chemicals and poisons that damage nature and life forms through their misuse. Destruction of all nuclear power stations. Stop of mismanagement of any type. Abolition of false politics and religions in the current forms, which are adverse to nature and creation. Formation of a global government in a unified democratic format. Dissolution of all military blocs leaning toward war, and all political and military secret services. Dissolution and prevention of all war activities and revolutions, etc. An end to all torture and capital punishment and all other abuses and ravages which burden and harm the earth and life on it. Formation of a worldwide team of security and safety agents to protect and join the nations. The team would consist of members from all existing peoples and races on Earth. Global dissemination of creation's laws and commandments and the learning and adhering to the ensuing lifestyle. These things would create a lifestyle according to the rules of creation and, therefore, a more humane and dignified life. Worldwide support and execution of plans to make amends for all the damages caused already to the land, forests, meadows, water, atmosphere, plants, humans, animals, and microorganisms is mandatory. Second question. Why are the Pleiadians interested in the fate of the Earth? Billy's answer. The Pleiadians are interested in the fate of Earth because they feel responsible for their Lyrian and Vegan ancestors' previous actions, false teachings and religions, misguidance and other wrongdoings against the inhabitants who had previously been born on Earth. Even in those early days, Earth humans joyfully absorbed and perfected the false teachings of the extraterrestrials, viscously and willingly, until they prevailed all over the world, as they are now. Therefore, the blame cannot be laid squarely on the extraterrestrials, but must clearly be placed with the willingness of Earth humans to adopt those negative habits. Nonetheless, the Pleiadians feel responsible for the wrongdoings of their ancestors, as well as for the ensuing degeneration caused by them while they were amongst humans on Earth. The Earth human opened up the floodgates to all types of insanities through his callous willingness and arbitrariness. Even now he wallows in terrestrial delights and thrills. Third question. You had your first contact with extraterrestrials at the age of 5 years. Afterwards you lived for a long time in India, as well as other places. It appears you had been prepared for your task. Why were you apparently chosen for it?